Gotcha, everybody. So, these things happen in live television. Okay, are y'all ready to have a good time? Are you ready to celebrate the master of the Hollywood Squares, Mr. Peter Marshall's 97th birthday? Yes. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something. What we're going to do tonight is something so extraordinary because we have so many incredible clips. Some of them haven't been seen since oh God, people are listening to me. Some of these clips have not been seen since they actually aired on the air. And we're so excited to show you some of these clips. I mean, we're talking junket behind the scenes footage of the Hollywood Squares group. It's going to be so much fun. So I can see everybody. Hey, everybody, there you go. I can finally see people in the comment section, Kathy. Anyway, shall we do this, Kath?
Okay.
Shall we do it? Now, let me tell you about the clips that we're going to start here. Then we're going to start the first clips. There's 3 of them, one right after the other. And the first one, 1971. It's Earl Wilson's "This Is Your Life," and it happened on the Hollywood Squares. They thought they were playing the game. No, Ralph Edwards showed up. And then the clip following that one. Are you ready for this? Ava Gabor. Ava Gabor is filling in for Merv Griffin, and Peter is the guest. And then the last clip, you're going to be blown away. It's Mike Douglas, Peter Marshall, and Sly Stone from Sly and the Family Stone. All right, grab a cocktail, get ready, because these are some great clips. Hit it, Kathy. It's coming. Hold on.
We think it's coming.
We think it's coming. Hold on.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Serious glitch.
Serious glitch.
Okay.
Okay, these things happen on live television. This was supposed to, we did this in rehearsals already earlier today. So of course, when things happen, it just does it that way. Hang in there, folks.
Stay with us.
All right, it's time for another drink. Let's all do shots. Whenever there's a mistake, we'll do shots.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
So sorry.
I have no idea. There we go. I'm up in the corner here. All right, let me see.
Okay.
Game show man, Gomez, Jesse Laporte. I just wrote a mini play about Peter Marshall. Are we ready?
I think we are.
Here we go.
Is sitting in the secret square.
Can you hear it?
Who picks it first?
Louder.
Package worth over $9,000. Which star?
Hold on, kids. I'm so sorry. They should hire a professional to do this.
Hold on. Ain't going anywhere.
Okay, one more time. I'm so sorry. You deserve better than this, folks.
Here we go. Just make sure the volume's turned up. I'll do this with my finger. Okay.
It's Artie Johnson.
There we go.
Marty Allen. Earl Wilson. Ralph Edwards. Charlie Weaver. Michelle Lee, Wally Cox, Rosemary, or Paul Lynde, all in the Hollywood Squares. And here is the master of the Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall.
Thank you, Kenny Williams, and very good morning. Welcome to the Hollywood Squares. Hello, stars. Lovely friends back with us this week. Some of our regulars, and Marty Allen, Earl Wilson is back with us, and Artie Johnson, Rosemary we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, and Paul, and we are welcoming 2 new players. First of all, a beautifully young actress, dancer, singer, married to a handsome actor, Mr. Jimmy Valentino, Michelle Lee. Welcome to the Hollywood Squares, love. Nice to see you. A gentleman I've admired from the Truth and Consequences Day, now back on TV with This Is Your Life, one of the better hosts, Mr. Ralph Edwards.
Thank you very much, Pete. I'm very delighted to be here on Hollywood Square. This is my first show,
Oh, this is the first time? Yes, I know that. Someday you might be able to surprise somebody on our show, Ralph. That would be fun.
Well, Pete, let's face it. As you and I know, that's the real reason that I'm here. And what a group to choose from here. My goodness. Now, wait a minute. Everyone's an eligible candidate except Cliff Arquette, because we did Cliff's life a long time ago. Do you remember?
Put him off the air, too.
We surprised Cliff on the Jack Parr show.
That's right.
And we flew people in from Mount Ida, so it can't be he. Let's see. That leaves Artie or Marty. Or Paul.
Could be Paul.
Paul, Wally, Michelle, Earl, Rosemary. Well, I have This Your Life book here, Pete. Right here. As a matter of fact, it says, "This is your life." Ohio farm boy and Broadway columnist Earl Wilson. People to Hollywood Squares and to This Is Your Life. Pete Marshall and all of you beautiful people, thank you so much for letting me surprise Earl on Hollywood Squares. Peter and Quigley, thank you. Now, Earl, let's go back to our business. We write our own column items, each one about Earl Wilson. Come on. Are you kidding?
You know,
Okay.
you show so many times,
Yes,
and
you
so
do.
many funny things are happening on the show. You want to tell some?
Charlie, he finished me the other day. I went to Weaver and I said, Charles, Carol Burnett says, before you go into show business, you should do something very important. What is that? He said, oh, yes. He said, for anybody going into show business, the things they should do is really, well, if they have an overbite, they should have their teeth corrected, or a funny nose, rhinoplasty, nose job. And if they wear glasses, maybe contact lenses. And if your hair's receding, maybe be fitted for a toupee and plastic surgery if necessary. But above all, be yourself.
Hey, darling, didn't you start with a band?
I started, as a band singer when I was 15.
But there is a band right back there. Go,
All
my
right,
love.
thank you, dear. I hope I remember it.
Oh, you will.
Oh, you
Hey, Mark.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the keynotes. You see? Joshing. Beautiful girl, walk a little slower when you walk by me. Lingering sunset, stay a little longer with the lonely seas and let the music play as long as there's a song to sing. And I will stay younger than spring. It seems we've stood and talked like this before. We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when. The clothes you're wearing are the clothes you wore. The smile you were smiling then, but I can't remember where or when. Some things that happen for the first time, they seem to be happening again. And though it seems that we have met before, and we have laughed before, and loved before, but who knows where or when? So let the music play as long as there's a song to sing, and I will stay younger. Thank you.
Not great. All right.
Congratulations.
Thank
on
you.
winning.
Thank you very much.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yes. It really is. I don't know what I won.
What do you mean you don't know what you won?
I don't know what I won. The Emmys
of
were so
friends.
confusing.
A lot of friends.
Oh, thank you, Sly. I hope I've had those for some time. But, you know, there were so many different categories this year, and you were up, and I was up, and Dinah, I wound up against Dinah, and we don't even do the same type show. And I saw her before the Emmy Awards. I hosted them this year. And I said, golly, what's this all about? And she sent me some flowers and a lovely note afterwards.
She's a great,
and
gracious
she's
lady.
neat lady.
She's really nice. You and I were speaking of friends. Sly said you made a lot of friends. You were up against a lot of friends.
I certainly was.
And that's strange. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you don't know what to say to the people.
That's
hard.
It really is tough.
That's hard.
I'm glad I won, though.
Yeah.
The heck with my friends, I say. No, I was up against Art Fleming, who I've been a buddy of mine for years, and Alan Ludden, who's been a friend of mine for years. Won that one, then we went to the one against Dinah, which I won.
That's terrific.
You should have won.
Did you know you were going to win? Did you ever
No,
feel
I
it?
knew I wouldn't win. I thought the Hollywood Squares, as a game show, would win. I said, that's going to win. I know that. It's the best game show on television. And Password won. And I said, maybe we aren't the best game show on television. And I knew it would be Dinah. I really did. And when they, you know, everybody said I was so shocked. I was really shocked.
Yeah, you really looked, you appeared shocked
Yeah.
when you went up, but you were happy and thrilled. That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. You were nominated several times before, though, weren't you?
Yeah, it's strange. I was nominated 3 times, and it's like the old Herb Schreiner joke. He said, I won't say we had ugly girls in our town, but we once had a beauty contest and nobody won, right? Well, I was
Because you were
nominated.
nominated and you didn't win.
Not only that,
You couldn't.
They didn't even vote on it after I was nominated. They said, game show host, that's such a tacky profession. I don't even think we should vote on it. And they didn't vote on it. So finally, I wrote the Academy last year, and I said, please don't nominate me anymore, because my name is in the book, and they get to my name and all the other guys, and they jump right over it. And they just continue. What happened to these bums, you know? But last year, a guy was nominated who I felt should be nominated this year, and had he been nominated, would have won, Bill Cullen.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that was for the best daytime host or hostess this year, right? Host or hostess. And I miss hostess by that much, so that's another award.
Your walk wasn't funny
That's
enough.
right,
That's
yeah.
it. Are you proposing any changes for next year?
I was, when they said, let's have a daytime Emmy Awards thing, I said, that's a great idea, and I went
It's a
in
great
to the
idea.
Academy. Doggone right. You know, we work hard as you work hard, and daytime does, believe
work
it.
hard too, man.
That's right. It's an amazing.
Are you going to talk to me?
Excuse me, Sly.
No, really. Honest.
I certainly will,
Are you
Sly.
going to talk to me?
Yes. What would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
I know that you love to be loved.
Not by you.
No, no. Believe me, Sly, I was not being sly. No, I was just, no, he asked
There
me
you
about...
go again.
No! What's this? No, I'll do this whole schmear.
No, this is it.
No.
This will work. Don't worry. Michael, you were asking me about the other
Proposing
thing.
any changes.
Yes, well, we...
Did you hear about that? He's going to propose some changes for the Emmys, Sly.
A ping pong game.
The changes should be simpler, that's all. Just make the categories simpler, and hopefully...
Hey, go back over there, man. I feel it wrong.
No, now he's looking. This is better.
Yeah, sure it
Looking
is.
at
And
you,
this is
eh?
my best side.
Okay.
You know, I have these huge teeth, you see, and this is a little better right here. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully it's simpler next year, and that's enough for the Emmy Awards, folks. Until next year, this is Peter Marshall saying good night. Is that right?
I heard. You know, I watched the show, and you give away a trip to an area in Mexico that I'm not familiar with, and yet somebody said you just returned from there.
Well, we just got back from Puerto Vallarta. There were 30 of us that went down. It was called the Hollywood Squares Junket, and it was wild. There was Karen Valentine and David Hartman and Vinnie Price and Karen and all of us. We all went down.
This is worse.
No, this is fun. This is fun. Listen to this story, Sly.
Because
We get on the plane, and there was Richard Burton.
You know, this is
Hey,
worse.
Sly, will you...
Hey, wait.
Excuse me. Will you look at me once in a while? Sly? Go ahead, Pete.
Anyway, we get on the plane, and
I'm sorry.
there's Richard Burton. You know Richard Burton.
Yeah.
Right. And he's on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Richard Burton.
Big guy. big in the biz guy. And he's there, and he has 9 seats all alone, right?
9 seats?
9 seats to himself.
For what?
I don't know. He didn't want to be bothered, but he had the first seat. So now you get on the plane, and you have to pass Richard Burton, right? There he is. He takes a shine to, excuse the expression, That's terrible. I apologize. That's tacky. That's really tacky. I apologize. No, but he takes a liking. How about that? A liking to Karen Valentine. Oh yes, he was.
I'm going to get you. You know that, don't you?
You want me to go back there now?
Oh, let me stay there. I thought it was going to say Blade.
No, he really takes a liking to Karen Valentine, and she's there with her boyfriend, Johnny Hager, the Hager twins.
Oh, yeah, I know, John.
And so he's going to have a cocktail party, and it was going to be for 8 people, and it wound up all of us were invited. And now we're at this party, and he's mad for Karen Valentine. And he keeps saying, now remember this evening.
You realize we're getting a scoop? This is a scoop.
Yeah, it's really true. It really is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there. And she's mad for Johnny Hager. I mean, and Johnny Hager, I don't know if you know the Hager twins from Hee Haw. He's about as real as you can get.
That's
I mean,
right.
he's just
Great
real. And Bert would say things like, Karen, tonight you're with me. You're my girlfriend. And Johnny's sitting there. He said, no, you don't understand, rich baby. Rich baby. And she'd go, rich baby, watch him. She's everybody's girl, but she's with me. And this kept going all night. He kept going zap, zap, and Hager would go zappity-doo. It was wonderful to watch.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, that clip hasn't been seen since 1974. Unbelievable. But, Peter was talking about the junkets, that they had gone to Puerto Vallarta. Well, guess what? Noopy, Rose Marie's daughter, was kind enough to give us some of her mom's home movies of those junkets. And it's amazing. I'm in them. Peter's in them. There's so many surprises. Now, there's no sound to these home movies. So I'm going to show you who they are. And you'll probably be able to know who a few of them as well. And right after that is this incredible clip from the Dinah Shore show, where she did a whole special on the Hollywood Squares. It's gonna be funny. So right now, are you ready? Let's take a look at some home movies from Rose Marie. Here we go. All right, here we go. There we go. There's me. And there's Harvey Korman. And the woman in the sunglasses. That's Noopy. That's Rose Marie's gorgeous daughter. We love her. And there's Paul. Looking at, don't I look fabulous? My fedora. I don't know what the special is of the day, but there we all were. Look at that. Remember, it was before we had camcorders with sound. I think I'm picking on Peter because I always picked on Peter. And then there's the waiter. There's the grass. We're all getting ready to go. And let's see some more. There we go. Oh, now we're here. We're getting ready to get on the boat. Part of the cruise to Puerto Vallarta. I'm wearing my schnazzy outfit. There's Noopy. Hey, Noopy. And then I don't know who those are. Oh, and there's Peter. There's all of us getting together there. There we are. Isn't that great? I'd like to know what they did with that coat. There's my girlfriend, Rose Marie. Now, you understand, Rosie loved to direct. So she's directing all this stuff. She's telling the cameraman what to do. She and I used to get into so much trouble. There we are. Peter, Rosie, Paul. Look at that. Could you tell we were a family? Could you tell that when the cameras were off, it was crazy? Oh, here we are at this place called Bouchart Gardens. And of course, once again, Rose Marie is directing. So she's telling Noopy and I to walk. There we are. There she is directing again. And these gardens. They're gorgeous. And here we are. Rosie set up the shot, and we all had to walk down and pretend there was no camera. But of course, we knew it was there. There we are. There's another angle. Oh my gosh. Oh, didn't we look fabulous? Absolutely fabulous. I love that jacket. I want that jacket. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, there's the photographer, Rosie laughing. And here we are. There I am again talking to somebody. Oh, there's Joanne Worley. Oh, we love Joanne. And there's Noopy. Oh, that Noopy. She got to meet everybody. She would hang out with her mom all the time. And there's another garden. There is Joanne, and that's an ex-husband. And trying to pick her up. Crazy, crazy. We love Joanne. Oh, here we are. Karen Valentine. You know, Karen is the one woman I would have married. And then there's Joanne. There we go. Joanne, I come back up there. Hey, Joanne. Oh, and here's Karen Valentine. We needed extra money, so we put her out on the street. Oh, my gosh. Oh, George Goebel. And get ready for something that's really spectacular. There's George. God bless him. And in the back, right there, that is a young Rue McClanahan. Look at her. We have another close-up coming of Rue. And okay, this I think is Leslie Uggams, and I think it might be Juliet Prowse. I'm not sure, but we're all.
That's Joanne Drew.
Joanne Drew. Oh, Joanne Drew. Sorry, Joanne Drew. Thank you, Kathy. Joanne Drew is Peter's sister. Oh, okay. You're going to be surprised at this man. I loved working with this man, and he's gonna turn around, and all of a sudden, I changed my voice because here he comes. There he gets closer and closer and closer. Are you ready? Here we come. It's Jonathan Frickett. I was thinking of Marty Frickett. It's Jonathan Winters. Look at this. Look at Jonathan. I'm going to come up there and I'm going to talk to you. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, look. Ah, it's fabulous people. Oh, and there's Jonathan. There's Jonathan. I'm doing all these voices. There's Jonathan with his caddy. Unbelievable. Oh, and here we are again, getting ready to get on the seaplane. There's George. Oh, there's Charlie Callis. And look at this woman right here coming up. Hermione Badley. Remember her, Mrs. Naugatuck on Maude? There it is. Just amazing. And there's Rue McClanahan. Look how young she was. Unbelievable. Isn't that just great? Hope you all are enjoying these incredible clips. Thank you, Noop, for these incredible clips.
You're sitting with the mere mortals here. I mean, you've always sat up in isolated heaven there.
Oh, these are my friends.
How do you know?
Well, they told me, but of course they lie. That's how they get on the show.
That's right. How do you know they're your
Now,
friends?
a friend protects you, and Peter protects all of us.
Yeah.
Peter, I want to say something.
He does.
You're my friend. You're not my best friend, but
We go back. I guess my two oldest friends on the immediate panel, Art Rowe, who I've known, I hate to tell you how many years.
Don't.
And George and I, we were both in nightclubs together when I worked with the late Tommy Noonan. And we used to work like Eddie's in Kansas City and the Top of the Park in Denver and the Chase Hotel. And we were on the same circuit for years. So we have known each other for a long, long time. And when he had his show on CBS, I was rather on NBC.
NBC it was.
He started on CBS, then he had the variety show. Tommy and myself, we were regulars on his show. See, I can sit back and watch the 9 people. They can't. They have to watch the monitor. I see 9 people, and I see how they react. I have never seen Paul laugh. Maybe with Cliff, with Cliff and Wally.
Well, Cliff, he replaced the irreplaceable, which is almost impossible. And, working on the show with George since dear Cliff Arquette, they couldn't have found anybody better to fill his place. Nobody.
I just had a gut feeling about the whole thing, and he worked so well, and that's it.
Joel is perfect. I don't care.
And he's also the sweetest man I've ever known in my life.
I feel like I'm being buried or something.
I'm the oldest living thing, and I remember everything.
That's what I'm asking.
You don't have to worry about being old. I was born the year they invented rope.
I have some questions here that were asked of Paul the first year of the show. Do you remember? I see if you remember any of these. What do you call a leopard without spots?
Oh, completely cured.
How did we get Puerto Rico?
Now we lost the toss.
love it.
Okay. Do all cattle have horns?
No, some play drums.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Why do motorcycle riders wear leather?
Because chiffon wrinkles.
I don't think there is a host or a game show host, if you want to say that, who is as marvelous as Peter, because Peter knows when you're going for a joke. He knows how to feed you for a joke. He knows when to cut it off. He knows when to stop you because we're running short of time or whatever. He does it the most diplomatic way, and it's really a pleasure. It's very comforting to know that you're in no trouble right there, and if you're going for something, but that's what it is.
It's timing, and he
That's
knows
what
when to
it is.
leave you alone.
I feel like I've got some illness, and this is it. Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. It's the best job I ever had in my life. I mean, people say, do you really laugh? I laugh. I'm a patsy.
No.
Oh, boy, I
I'll
tell you.
I've watched that show for years, and I know that you are the master. Really, he is. His timing is exquisite. He's compassionate with the guests, and he's always in control. I want you to watch this clip. I just want you to see. Peter never...
Peter Control.
Oh, Peter in control. I gotta see
One of the
this.
largest tuna fishing fleets in the world operates out of... the question, I'm sorry. Oh, I know it's important, and I'm sorry. I must destroy this question, Michael Airington, but I must read it, though. One of the largest tuna fishing fleets in the world. Sorry, I really am. We'll have a commercial. We'll be right back.
Just saw the big square himself start to break up and laugh uncontrollably about something about the tuna boat fishing fleet.
Well, let me explain why that is. Once in a while, you get the giddies. We do 5 shows.
Get the giddies?
We get the giddies, and I had the giddies.
What's the giddy?
The laughing.
Laugh.
The giggles,
The
okay.
giggles.
Yeah.
And McLean Stevenson had been on a roll that night, and it was really funny, and he broke the record. We went to him, I believe, 9 consecutive times, because I said, true or false, birds fly? And he said, yes, they do. And the contestant would say, no, I disagree. Okay? All right, now, I can't put a circle there because you have to earn that yourself. So the lady, back to McLean. And the questions were sillier and sillier. And every time he was correct, they would disagree. And every time he was incorrect, they agreed. Then right before this question, I said, and I'm starting to go. When I go, pull down the curtain, Charlie. It's over with. I said, McLean, where do you get lemon oil? And he's laughing. He said, from lemons. And the guy said, wrong. So I go to the girl and I pick up the thing, and when I look at a question, I see it all and the answer, you know? And the question read, I saw it all. True or false, the 3rd largest tuna fleet in the world is located in Casper, Wyoming. Well, that to me was very funny. It wouldn't have been that funny had it been the first question. But after 9 questions, that was a funny question. And that's the story, and it's not too funny. But
It was wonderful, like you talk about nighttime, is Jonathan Winters, because when Kenny is the announcer that does all, and now trip and go to Puerto Rico for 3 weeks and blah, blah. And Jonathan acts the whole thing out in the box.
yes, he mimes
silently.
it. He mimes
For
it.
the audience.
For the audience.
For
And
the
audience gets
If Jonathan
hysterical.
was funny on screen, what we laugh so hard when he's
Doing
now
commercials.
he's very uptight on squares. I think we finally come into an area. They give him some of
That's
his
Jay Reddick.
characters.
Our
and
producer
that
finally
is
found a way.
brilliant.
He says,
Because
Pete, when you ask a
Jonathan
question, don't
is
say
really at home
Jonathan.
when he's playing one of his characters.
He says, don't say Jonathan. He'll say, so I'll pick up a question. I'll say, Maud.
Yes.
Maud Frickard,
And then I'm
what do you
laughing
feel
at
about Bob? Now he's in it's Maud, or Lord Trafalgar,
Yeah.
or all of these. Now we put him into character, and he's home, and he's
it's
terrific.
great.
But there's-
They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember all the very special moments that were somehow always there? When the unexpected answer knocked you right out of your chair. True or false, there's a brand new bra on the market that squeaks in various musical tones.
The hills are alive.
According to columnist Gene Addams, what is the main reason for a boy losing interest in a girl overnight?
Oh, like finding her name in the Guinness Book of Records.
Oh, George says funny. They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember all the good times and the great times that they've had in years gone by? All those zany, crazy moments when you'd laugh until you cry. The UPI quoted President Nixon as saying that something feels great. What is it?
It always feels great to put on my blue serge suit and walk on the water.
True or false? Ann Landers believes dentures can improve your love life.
Wrong.
They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember? True or false? People who buy tickets on no-frill flights tend to be less cooperative than other passengers.
Stewardess, you know I hate to begin with, because
Yeah.
I was pregnant and in labor and tourist, and she laid me in the aisle, and I had the kid in first class, and they wouldn't let me see her.
To the people in Mongolia, what is Ulaanbaatar?
Ulaanbaatar is the stage name that is used there when all of Lauren Green's pictures play there.
They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember? Are most of us somewhat surprised when we find out that a really beautiful woman is also very intelligent?
Huh?
Has a man ever grown hair to a length of 26 feet?
Well, you know, my stepbrother had that hair that long.
Did he now?
Yeah. And the guy stepped on it, broke his neck just like that.
They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember all the stars who've entertained us and were funny as can be, and the few who've gone and left us and we think of lovingly? In a popular children's story, who kept saying, I think I can, I think I can?
By the out at the home, that was Mr. Ferguson.
Really?
And Mrs. Ferguson kept saying, I wish he would, I wish he would.
What should you call a male hippopotamus?
Sir.
They've had a lot of laughs on Hollywood squares. I wonder, do you remember?
But I would say the most memorable, because it was a day that was the most memorable day of my life, was the day of our earthquake.
I knew you were going to say that.
It really was. It was because I thought it was all over. Nancy Sinatra said I slept through it. I don't know how you could sleep through that.
No.
Now, did you?
No.
Oh,
Boy, I
okay.
woke up like...
Oh, and made some broth?
No, the kids...
Or made some beef stock?
Little beef
no,
stock.
but I'm going to tell you, I thought it was the...
Always put me on that.
I thought it was the end of the world, and you talk about the show must go on. We taped later that day.
The earthquake was 10 minutes to 6 in the morning.
And we went, and you know, we couldn't get television or radio on, and Mary Markham called and said, don't forget your call.
Mary Markham books the show. She's the one responsible for all the talent. Mary Markham and Gary Damsker.
Now, the first person I heard from that day, which I thought it was over, She said, don't forget your call. We're taping at 4:30. And I said, Mary? Mary! I didn't know anybody else was alive. But we went out and we taped that night, and Peter was asking me a question, and Jerry Shaw, our director, has still promised me that he would show me that film clip. But while he was asking me, we had a violent aftermath tremor, and I
May I just interject something? One thing.
Yeah.
Now, before the show, I was told, they said, don't tell any of the stars, but underneath. Now, when you see that set's that big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 9 huge stars and a huge set. Underneath that, they said, don't tell anybody, but it's the old Esther Williams swimming pool.
Oh, dear.
And they were afraid the set was going to go into the swimming pool, right? Now, they said, you're okay, Pete. You're over there. I said, okay. I won't tell anybody, and I'm watching. Now, I said, true or false, Paul? Close up. Earthquake tremor after shock, whatever it's called.
I'm just like this. I was going.
The whole set is going like this.
The lights were
A
going.
cameraman.
No, the lights, which are, you can see them here in the studio. They were clanging together, and it was unbelievable. And I don't know whether I ever did that. We cleared
you
the
said
studio.
Peter, how could you ask that? Didn't you feel what was going on?
No,
That
I didn't say. I don't remember what I said.
No,
but
he really
they
stayed with
emptied
the question.
studio.
He really stayed with the question.
I did?
A cameraman leaped off the stand and
And
has never been
left
seen.
and
never
never
came back.
returned since.
And that was what? How many years ago was that? But I figured if the thing went into the pool, I said, Jerry, go to me. I was going to go, so long for a while.
Let me tell you one more earthquake story. I was doing a show one afternoon, because we live in earthquake country, and I was doing You Don't Say with Tom Kennedy, and I was watching the floor of NBC out in Burbank roll like that,
Oh,
and I
that big
said,
cement.
there is something wrong going on. And suddenly it came over the sound, the PA system, empty the studio. And I had one of those lavalier mics on. Now, I put them on 1,000 times. I couldn't get it off. And suddenly, I was the only person in the studio. And so when I finally got out in the hall, which was supposed to be safe, I went up, and the little girl that was the contestant with me, she said, Paul, I saw you were in trouble, but they said, don't touch the stars.
Remember some of the questions, the funniest questions they've asked you on Squares?
Yeah, I hurt myself badly one time on Hollywood Squares. There was an Ed Sullivan question. Do you remember this one, Pete?
I love it.
And Ed, of course, was alive then, and we were kidding him a lot. And I answered a question as Ed Sullivan and got it right. I took a guess at it, and then I said, now let's really hear it for me. And I stood up to do that, is it, and I whammed my head on the top, and I went right back, and I went right over the chair, and crashed down on my neck, still doing this. Let's really hear it. Lying there with a concussion, and Vincent Price leaned over and said, wait until the laugh dies down and then get up.
Have been working nightclubs together. What does he like to work with?
A joy.
A joy.
Absolute joy. With my mouth, I don't say that unless I mean it.
I know.
He is just a pleasure. It's who wants to go first, who wants to close, how long do you want to do, how long do I want to do. Yeah. He's a joy and a pleasure. And boy,
we
can I
have
give
a
you
lot of
names
fun.
who are stinkers.
We have
And
a
yes,
lot of
you're-
fun. We really do.
And he's
We
got
have,
such a good act. You know,
yeah,
it's-
my kids, the chapter 5, and Joni. It's a good
Yeah.
package.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Did you all like that? Wasn't that fabulous? Oh my gosh. Some of the story and the earthquake. I think that was the 71 earthquake that they were talking about at that point. But oh my God, they just don't do shows like this anymore. It's like a bygone era. There was so much class. There was so much, it was just a different time. And I wish to gosh we could go back to that sometimes. And people had a little bit more class in some of these talk shows. But this has been so much fun. Now we're going to finish up here with Peter talking to his good friend and frequent square guest, Florence Henderson. And then we have a very, very special clip after the Florence Henderson clip. So here you go. Take it away, Kathy.
Well, we have to talk about Hollywood Squares. You know, I don't think anyone could have reined in all of those personalities like you did. I mean, you were just so brilliant at it. And some were pretty wild. It got kind of chaotic at times, didn't it?
Well, I have a chaotic thing on you, in fact.
No.
I do. When I do the act,
Me?
on you, on sweet, darling little Florence Henderson, yes, we have some.
You do?
Youngest of 10.
I know.
We have a little clip that I brought with me, and I thought your fans would like to see.
Humming, help your tennis game.
This struck me funny. Will humming help my tennis game? Sure, why not? It takes your mind off your balls or something.
I asked Florence.
There you go, kid.
But you know why I said that?
Why did you say that?
I was taking tennis lessons from
course.
Dickie Van Patten's son.
Right.
And he kept saying, never take your eye off the ball. The most important thing is in tennis is keeping your eye on your ball and the other guy's ball. And
Well, however it turned out, it was great for me. It's one of my favorite outtakes.
oh gosh, thank you for showing me that. I'm blushing. My young crew here thinks I'm, pretty straight. You got a lot to learn, guys. Anyway, you actually weren't the first host they thought of for
No.
Hollywood
They
Squares.
did a pilot with Burt Parks.
Really?
At CBS. And in fact, I had never done a game show. I had been on, in fact, it's funny how things happen. I was starring on Broadway with Julie Harris.
In Skyscraper.
In Skyscraper.
I loved it.
Thank you. And a wonderful show.
Oh, it was great.
Jimmy Van Hughes, Emmy Consol. It was a great show. Anyway, we closed a week earlier than we were supposed to, or I'd never have done it. They always taught, so you take a left to change it, you take a... Anyway,
Exactly.
I came to California. The second day I was there, I got a call from Bob Quigley. He said, would you like to do a game show? And I said, what's a game show? He said, well, here's our address. Come down. And they showed me the pilot of Hollywood Squares done at CBS by Burt Parks. And I said, that's a really good show. I said, why aren't they using Burt Parks? Now, you got to remember, I'd been in show business 25 years at this point in my life.
And when you started, when you were...
Right, and I started when I was 15.
Right.
So anyway, I said, why aren't you using Burt Parks? He said, well, we're looking for a complete nonentity. And I said, I'm America's biggest nonentity. And I was not going to do the show because Abe Burrows wanted me to do Breakfast at Tiffany's. So I called Abe Burrows and I said, I've been offered this game show. It's 13 weeks. He said, take it. We won't get going for 5, 6 months.
You lasted longer than Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Well, now, and the second they picked us up, I called him back. And he said, I was going to call you. They're going to go blonde. I said, what do you mean? He said, they signed Richard Chamberlain. Well, they closed in Boston. They never came in, and I ran 16 years. So you take the left instead of taking the right, and your whole life changes, really.
Well, you said that Paul Lynde tried his best to hate you? I can't imagine. Why
Well,
was
not
that?
to hate me. Well, you knew Paul as well as I knew Paul.
Yeah.
He could be very vindictive. And
Yep.
I always got along great with Paul. I always thought he was, I saw him in New Faces, and I just fell in love with his performance. He was just brilliant. And then I did Bye Bye Birdie in London, so I saw him in New York doing Bye Bye Birdie with Cheetah.
Right.
I did it with Cheetah in London. And he was brilliant. And so there's nothing he could do that would bother me. So
no,
that
you
would drive
never-
him crazy.
Can never rattle you.
He would never rattle me. He could never upset me. So he just disliked me intensely, but not really. He kind of liked me, I think.
Oh, he adored you. Amazing.
I wrote a book called, I'm not plugging the book because it's out of print. You can't get it. It's called Backstage with the Original Hollywood Square. And I think maybe you can get it on Amazon. I don't know. But anyway, I tell stories like the second week of the show, Milton Berle was on the show. Now, I've known Milton since I'm 12.
Wow.
His first wife, Joyce Matthews, was in a show called Hold On to Your Hats with my sister, Joanne Marshall. Instead of Joanne Drew, she was Joanne Marshall, an Al Jolson show. And so I've known him all my life. And I always liked him, and I always got along. And they said, he's leaving. He doesn't like his dressing room. I said, what are we going to do? I said, I'll handle it. So I went to the dressing room. I said, Milton, you're absolutely right. You built the studio. You know the good dress. We don't have any. I would go home. He said, what? I said, if I were you, I would go home. This is the dumb game show. You don't need this show. Go home, Milton. We'll get somebody. There's Joanne Worley. She lives in Toluca Lake. Or there's Abby Dalton. Or we'll find somebody in the hallway. Go home, Milton. He said, I'm not going to go home. I'm a professional. I said, okay, but,
this is the way it is.
And I walked back and they said, what? I said, don't worry about it.
You knew how to handle it. But that's part of your genius, I think. 'Cause
Well,
it's very,
thank you.
it's very hard to handle some of these tough old pros. Well, you were a part of a wonderful comedy team with Tommy Noonan. How did that come about? I saw you actually in Vegas.
Did you?
Years ago, yeah.
That was a good act.
Oh, it was a wonderful act.
Noonan and Marshall.
Right.
And I was out of work. I had newly married and living in California with my sister Joanne.
Yeah.
And she was dating a guy by the name of John Ireland.
Oh.
And who she married eventually. And his brother was Tommy Noonan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that John's brother was Tommy.
I had no idea.
And I had a dental bill of $67 I wanted to pay. And he had just been dropped by RKO. And we wrote this act. And we booked ourselves into a place called the Zambawanga on Slauson. And I have the contract. It was $150 a week and 3 shows a night. And that's for the 2 of us. But Polly Bergen was a friend of ours, and she said to Billy Gray, there's a cute comedy team working this place, and they put us in for one night at the old bandbox, which in those days, Billy Gray's bandbox in California in those days was really the spot.
Yeah.
Hackett played it, and Frankie Fontaine, and all the great comics. And we went in for one night and stayed 16 weeks. And that was the beginning of Noonan and Marshall. And we couldn't afford to buy material, so we learned how to write stuff.
Oh.
And a year later, we're starring in New York at the Martinique, making like $3,500 a week.
But see,
1950, that was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, but
Yeah.
but what experience that is. I mean, that's why as the years have gone on, you just get better and better. Because, you know, today young kids don't ever get the opportunity for that kind of experience.
No place to, there's an old expression, there's no place to be bad anymore.
Right.
And we were lousy, I'm sure, in the beginning. But you learn and you grow. And kids today, just, there's no place to be bad.
I know.
To learn how to be okay and then learn how to be very good.
Right. Well, which one of those shows? LaCock, was maybe that your favorite?
LaCock was a wonderful show, but I tell you, there's something about every show you do. Skyscraper, working with Charles Nelson Riley and Julie Harris, with music by Jimmy Van Heusen and Sammy Kahn. I mean, and a great cast. You know, I mean, that was terrific. And then you're doing Bye Bye Birdie with Cheetah Rivera, and you're starring in London. You know, wow! And I was doing commercials, and my kids were in school, and it was very inexpensive. Then you go back and you do LaCock on Broadway.
Oh yeah!
And what a great show!
Wonderful show.
So there's something about each show that is just so rich, and it will stay with you forever.
Now, Peter, you were on Hollywood Squares 16 years.
16 years.
And the show was reincarnated a few times with different hosts, but it never lasted as long. Why do you think?
They didn't do it right. It had nothing to do with the host. You know,
I think so.
John Davison, you know how I love John and you love John. John made me laugh when he did the show, and he was embarrassed that he was doing the show. And I said, don't be, please. I love you, and if I can help in any way, please do. The guy that they first used was from Sha Na Na. I can't think of his name. He wasn't very good. John was good, and I thought that Tom Bergeron was very good. The show wasn't produced well. They didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how to cast it.
Right.
They didn't know how to do the jokes. You got to remember, you did the show as much as anybody.
Yeah.
You were a regular on the show. Our questions were clever, and the jokes were clever. And it's hard to do clever. You have, George Schlatter coming on the show. Now, that was a clever show.
Right.
Laugh-In was done. They tried to reincarnate that with somebody else. It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
Because George knew how to do it, and he had the right people doing it. And they knew how to do it. We had the right people doing it.
Yes.
And I was a good host because I'd worked with Tommy Noonan all those years, so I knew how to get out of the way of a joke.
Always.
And I knew how to, it was the easiest job I ever had. I didn't rehearse. I just showed up, and who's on the show? Hello, stars. And laughed for a week.
And I think every guest, I know every time I was on, I always felt so comfortable because I knew you were in charge.
Well,
and
thank you.
That it was going to all be okay.
Well, we did have fun, didn't we?
Oh my! I think I had more fun on that show than anything I've ever done.
And we would do 5 shows at a time.
And we'd have those 3, and then we'd have that dinner
break. We'd have our dinner break and a little wine.
A little wine.
Well, I didn't drink, so I don't drink. But I would see the people that did drink, and I would scream. I would laugh so hard.
Well, Paul Lynde sometimes.
Well, Paul.
That was
I mean,
forget it.
And it, you know, and my closest friend on the show was Goebel.
I love George.
You know, it took me 2 years to get him on the show.
Really?
Yeah. And finally, they called me one day. They said, we're going to use George. Now, I would have lunch with him almost every day at the tail of the cock. I said, you're doing the show next week. He said, I'm not going to do the show. I'm not that funny anymore. I said, he had no idea it had been tried for 2 years. I said, shut up. You got to do the show. And he was never off the show. He did it from there on in. But my other close friend, I'm losing all my best friend has been for over 50 years, is Tom Poston.
Oh.
And I lost Tommy this year.
Yeah.
And when he came out from New York, I got him on the show. I only asked maybe 3 people on the show, and all the years I did it. I asked to put my sister on. She didn't want to do it. And she came on with a T-shirt that said Peter Marshall's sister. Because for my whole life, I was Joanne Drew's brother.
I have to ask you, because I met your wonderful son, Pete LaCock.
Pete LaCock.
And yeah, he played Major League Baseball.
For many years, yeah.
And did he get that talent from you?
No, I'm not a very good athlete. From his mother. No, I love to play golf. I was never very good. I was not a good athlete, but a terrific athlete. And he got his desire of sports from me and her talent. I wish I could say yes, all of that is the timing, but no.
Well, you've had such an amazing life.
Well, so have you.
You've entertained so many people in so many different ways, and you seem so comfortable with life and whatever is to come.
It's been so good to me, and I've been blessed by this wonderful family, wonderful friends, and I have a modicum of talent, and I'm awfully cute at times. So there you go.
Good morning from the NBC studios in Burbank. They're getting ready to tape the Hollywood Squares show here. For 13 years, that program has been one of the most enduring game shows on TV.
Thank you, Kenny, and a very good day. Welcome to the Hollywood Squares. Hello, stars.
Hey, Peter, how you doing?
For most of America, this is all they know of Peter Marshall. And this show is enough to make him a rich man for working 2 days a week.
Paul, during the ancient Greek Olympic Games, all the contestants were naked except for what?
The bobsled team.
But there is more. Peter Marshall's been in show business almost 40 years. Started in the classical way as a page at NBC in New York. Worked as a singer, an actor, on stage, in movies, in nightclubs. He's back in nightclubs now. He has 4 kids, and one of them is also a star of rather a different kind. He carries his father's real name, Pierre LaCock, Pete. First baseman for the Kansas City Royals. A good ball player. Hit around 300 for the last 2 years. Hitting over 320 so far this year. How does Pete compare himself with Peter?
Basically, I'm in show business just like him. I try to entertain people with my talent.
I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find.
Pierre LaCock Sr., Peter Marshall, spends about 13 weeks a year on the road with his nightclub act, here at Harrah's in Reno. It was that kind of touring that kept him away from son Pete while Pete was growing up, and he regrets that. But boy, does he try to make up for it by flaunting his pride in his son.
He's now a major league ball player, has been for 6 years. His name is Pete LaCock. He's that cute first baseman with the Kansas City Royals. Do you know that? That usually gets applause. What's the matter with you fools? It's my baby boy with the cute buns. He was with the Cubs, that's right. A lot of people, I guess that's the most asked question, why my son and I have different names. And it's easy to tell you. You see, Pete thought that Peter Marshall was a silly name, so he changed it to LaCock. Wanted to keep a low profile. No. That's his name.
Here was a cold night in Cleveland. Dad's a proud and faithful fan. but he's a nervous one.
I'll tell you, the playoffs last year wrecked me. My wife was so upset what we went through. I'm not a good viewer. I'm really not. It upsets the heck out of me. There he is, 55,000 screaming people at Yankee Stadium, the tying run at second, and he hung in there and kept fouling at Gossage, who throws hard, and he finally lined to left field, and the guy made a very nice play. I think it was, who was playing left field? Well, it's not important. Pinella, I believe it was. And I said, Petey, I was a wreck. I really was. And in fact, none of my friends called me till the next day. And I said to Pete, I said, how did you feel up there? He said, you know, Dad, I looked around, 55,000 people just screaming at me. And I said, boy, you know something? This is really fun. And that's the boy. That's his attitude.
Baseball sometimes pulls families apart. Show business often does. But for Pete and Peter, engaged in both, it has not worked that way.
It seems like since I've gotten into pro ball, we've gotten a lot closer, mainly because, well, we see each other in a different aspect. You know, we see each other, you know, not as often, and when we see each other, we're, you know, it's kind of a better thing because he likes to watch me play ball, and, you know, when I get home, I also have a grandchild that he likes to see once in a while, and so that's you know, that's about the relationship we have there.
I think our relationship is much better. We were discussing, as he stated last night, he was, as a child, was very upset that I was always on the road, and I had 4 children to support, and I was in nightclubs in those days. And now that he's been on the road with a child, he realizes that's what you have to do.
I love you. I honestly love you.
Is it old-fashioned for a father to speak so publicly, so proudly of his son, and for the son to talk so admiringly of his dad? It sure is.
I'm not trying to make you anything at all, but this feeling doesn't come along every day, and you shouldn't blow the chance. When you
singing, I honestly love you.
For today, Jack Perkins, NBC News.
Oh, Jack Perkins. Yeah. Jack Perkins was the NBC guy. Jack Perkins.
There you go. Yeah. Everybody, say hello and happy birthday to the master of the Hollywood Squares.
And it's already a bestseller, baby.
That's it.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Michael. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I certainly did. Reflecting on my past when I was young and very cute.
You still are cute, Peter. Please.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Anyway, all my love and thanks for watching, and I really appreciate it.
And we're so glad that people got to see clips that they'd never seen before in those Puerto Vallarta junket. The Hollywood Squares junkets was hysterical. But, oh my God! And the Dinosaur, Peter, the Dinosaur show that was a tribute to the Squares.
Say this, Michael. If you love Paul Lynde and you see Michael Airington working, go see him. He's terrific. And, really, I just love what you do. And I'm sure Paul would have loved it too.
Well, you know, everybody, just to let you know, Peter Marshall is one of the most generous people. Peter supplied the voice for my show, Paul Lynde Show, and did it.
I didn't hear that.
Who else at the house? Ask him who else at the house.
Peter, who's at the house?
Hello.
Family.
I'm Little Pete.
That's Little Pete.
I'm Little Pete.
Hey, Little Pete.
Yes, I am.
Who else is there at the house?
There's so many people here. There really are. My sisters are here. My sister's kids. You know, all our friends. It's really a great time.
Wonderful. We'll let him go.
Very much.
Awesome. Well, listen. Thank you so
There's
much.
Lori.
Hey, Laurie. How are you?
Hi, Paul.
Or Michael, whatever.
Hi.
How are you, darling?
Good. We're just filling up our plates right now.
Save a plate because you know I'm moving back. So I'll come up and get, I'll come up and get second.
I'll make you cheer me soon. Oh, there's Bongo.
You have to understand, Peter and Laurie have so many pets. They're fabulous. There you go, gang.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy birthday, Peter.
Happy birthday, Peter.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jim. Bye,
Thank you
Peter.
so very much. I'm having my birthday dinner.
All right. Blow a candle out for me.
Okay.
That's great.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye, Peter. I'll see you soon. And there you go, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful time watching this show. And we got to thank Kathy Brown for putting all the clips together, and Jim Pearson for coordinating everything. They actually the internet went out at Peter's house, and they had to do it on an iPhone. But I just want to let everybody know that you got to follow Peter on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just look for Peter Marshall, and or go to petermarshall.com, petermarshallofficial.com, and you can purchase the links for Backstage at the Hollywood Squares. And when I'm not doing Paul Lynde, my name is Michael Airington, and I'm wearing a wig. And they asked me would I narrate this show today, and I said I would do anything to help the master of the Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall. And look for my show; it could be coming to your town very soon. It's called Becoming Paul Lynde. Kathy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I guess Kathy looks gorgeous. She's just not on camera right now. But everybody, if you didn't get to see the whole show, it's going to be on YouTube, and you can watch it over and over again. So thank you all so much. This is Michael Airington, Paul Lynde, and Kathy Brown saying have a good evening.
Good night.
Okay, I need a cocktail, Kathy.